So many successful professionals climb to the next rung of their career ladders and eventually discover something unsettling. The emptiness is still there. Maybe, maybe you're one of them. And people make different choices. Some choose to soldier on, others kind of quit quietly and just go through the motions. But inside, that hollowness is there, it's persistent. You know, we're just waiting for Friday to come, and then we can kind of forget about the week and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weekend. You know, you've done everything right, perhaps. Optimize your strengths. You've found your why. You've found this intersection of passion, skill, market, need, and income, and you're making probably good money doing the work that you're reasonably good at. And yet there's this sense of hollowness that just won't go away. And there's a voice inside you that's saying, is this it? Is this really it? And I know this feeling, I've been there. I want to tell you something that might be challenging everything that you've been taught about finding your purpose. You know, the word purpose is being thrown around a lot, quite a lot these days. And I want to first, before kind of unpacking what I'm talking about in the sense of purpose, I want to talk about some frameworks that have brought us here and where the interpretation of purpose currently sits today. You know, and let me start by saying this: I really honor these frameworks. I'm extremely grateful for the frameworks that brought us to where we are today and helped me to even think about purpose as I went through my own journey of discovery. And I've tried them, many of them, right? So here's a few to name some, right? There's the Westernized version of Ikigai, which is very far from the Japanese, the original Japanese, distinction. You know, there's another one, Simon Sinek's Start with the Why, and there's also the Gallup StrengthsFinder 2.0. So these are a few that I used, that I employed, and each of them did open doors for me and revealed important truths, but none of them filled the emptiness. And here's something to share, right? So, you know, if you peel back all the layers, and I did this exercise, I peeled back all the layers and I looked at the three frameworks, and ultimately they're all converging on the two questions, which is find something that, what is it you can make money from? And how can you make endless amounts of money from that thing that you find? You know, the Ikigai diagram, I think it goes something like this. The Westernized one, which says, what do you love? What do people need? What are you really good at? And what can you get paid for? And this payment piece, right? And the sweet spot that we're told in that Ikigai diagram is where all these four pieces kind of converge. And similar thing, Simon Sinek Start with the Why. Again, brilliant book, brilliant insights. But again, it's really coming back into the question of how can you make yourself more profitable? How can your business be even more thriving and booming? And it's all measured by profitability. Again, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that is this one pointed direction that it's all pointing towards. And basically saying by finding your why, that's the solution. Then StrengthsFinder also helps you to identify your natural talents, what you're really good at and stuff, and how to build on that, and thereby be more productive, more valuable, etc. in your career, right? But this is where I'm bringing a different view and a different pattern. And I feel that all three of these are basically treating money as the validation of purpose, and operating within a system that says, hey, if it doesn't generate income, it's not valuable. And if it doesn't make you wealthy, it's not worth pursuing. And this, I feel, dear friend who's listening, is what's keeping us, many of us, trapped, right? And let's consider some people who've gone before us, people who we are well acquainted with, perhaps, you know, who've actually genuinely transformed humanity. You know, let's think about Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, Martin Luther King Jr. There's many more, but these are a few that come to mind. What do you notice about these people? Here's what I notice. None of them were motivated by income. Income was not their predominant motivation that drew them to do what they did, right? So Jesus proclaimed the kingdom of God to serve the marginalized. Buddha taught the path to enlightenment, to kind of end suffering, the suffering that we go through in life. Gandhi, of course, pursued Indian independence, through nonviolent resistance. Mother Teresa, serving the poorest of the poor. Martin Luther King fighting for racial justice and community. And look, but while none of them sought financial gain, look at the impact that they had, right? So Jesus, for example, has about 2.4 billion followers, I guess, today, who call him Master and Lord and pray to him every day. Buddhism has 520 million followers, people who are deeply immersed in that belief, and it's overflowed into the mindfulness world and all of those things, right? Gandhi liberated 400 million people. Today, India is independent largely because of the work that he spearheaded. Mother Teresa, global humanitarian movement. So many lives have been given a new lease. And MLK, look what he did in transforming America and also the world in many ways about human rights, etc. But this is what is mattering much more than just the monetary numbers, right? And it's the lives touched, the humans' souls that have been touched. That transformation, they transformed how we see ourselves, how we see each other, how we see the world around us, how we interact with the world around us, and how to love, how to serve, how to come together and birth more beauty, goodness, and truth into the world in this lifetime. And they did it in their lifetime. And consider Jesus. He had 3 years of ministry, if I'm not getting it wrong, and basically 3.5 decades, and then he was, put on the cross. And see what emerged in his short time on earth. And when you study these lives, there's a clear pattern that emerges, right? So there's 4 parts to the pattern that comes out. First, you had a clear soul level call. Just this inner knowing that wouldn't let them go. It grabbed them and just wouldn't let them go. And we all have this. 2, a deep conviction. This was not based on market research. This was not based on branding, nothing like that. There was this no income potential. It was just this deep, heart-seated conviction. 3rd, aligned action. So they followed the call of what was pulling them, what was drawing them. It wasn't that they followed the money. They followed the call of what was drawing them. So aligned action. And 4th, massive transformation, right? So the ripples that get created and the continuing even after they have gone. And you can see this world over with many, many people. And this is what I would say is the pattern of soul level purpose, which is very, very different. I would say radically different from career optimization. Now you're going to be asking me, hey, what about the money? Okay, didn't anyone make money following the soul level purpose? And absolutely, and I want to introduce you to a few examples, and of course I can't cover them all here. Please read the Substack to read through them all. And there's so many around us that live this way. But your purpose may generate income. This is what I want to keep saying again and again. The purpose may generate income, but income should not be the reason you're following the call, right? So a couple of people come to mind. Maybe let's talk about 3 of them. I've got more in the Substack, like I say. Michael Singer, I recently read this fantastic book that a friend gave to me, The Surrender Experiment. Oh my God. So this guy basically, from the US, born in 1950, basically all he wanted to do was just meditate. That's it. He bought a piece of land and built like this really tiny building on it, house, and he just meditated all day. That's all he wanted. But as life events unfolded, he just kept surrendering to each thing that came up through life. And in the end, he founded the Temple of the Universe. It's a meditation center on 600 plus acres, and all of this just organically came little by little. And then eventually, one of the big things that happened is he taught himself, life led him to learn about computing, and he learned programming, and then he built this software company that basically went on to merge with the WebMD, valued at $3.5 billion, excuse me. And the company's achievements are even in the Smithsonian Institute. So this is someone that really followed, and of course, bulk of the money he donated back into the temple. And the beautiful story in the surrender experiment that Michael takes us through, or Mickey Singer takes us through, is that it's progressive. You can see how purpose has unfolded in his life, right? And another one, of course, you may know very well is Wangari. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, but Wangari Maathai, basically the first woman in East and Central Africa to receive a PhD. And she said a beautiful quote so she's very well known for the Green Belt movement. And when she was asked about her motivation for environmental activism, she says, and I quote, "I don't really know why I care so much. I just have something inside me that tells me there's a problem and I've got to do something about it. I think that is what I would call the God within me." But very quickly, 1977, I believe, she started the Green Belt movement in a small tea nursery in her backyard, right? And then it went on to be this huge global movement. She went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And I don't think she started planting trees to win a peace prize. She just planted trees to respond to that which was calling her right then and there. And it just kind of blossomed from there, right? And of course, one of my big people that I admire a lot, Sri Paramahansa Yogananda ji, who took yoga across the seas, right? Born in 1983. I think it was around 1915 or 1920 when he was meditating in a school, he received the vision. And this guy, by the way, all he wanted to do, if you haven't read this book, please read it. Highly recommended, The Autobiography of a Yogi, again, gifted by a friend of mine. Such a beautiful story. And all he wanted to do is go to the Himalayas and meditate. That's all he wanted to do. But follow his story and see this amazing introduction of yoga into America and the world beyond India. What a transformation it has brought. And he's now kind of known as the father of yoga in the West. He never pursued wealth. He just received spiritual vision and kind of followed it, right? And his book, I think it says on the back of the book, it's considered one of the 100 must-read books in your lifetime. So there's a crucial distinction. Of course, I have other examples in the Substack article. Vandana Shiva, who fought for seed sovereignty. Paulo Coelho, who wrote from his soul. He wrote a book in 2 weeks. The Alchemist was written in 2 weeks. And it's a beautiful story to follow the background of The Alchemist book and what truth comes out of it, and still selling millions of copies. Of course, there's Eckhart Tolle. There's multiple examples that are out there in the world today. But the crucial distinction is none of them followed purpose to make money. The money came because they followed their purpose. So they followed their purpose first. And this is what I want to say. When you follow your soul's purpose, income may or may not come. But alignment is what you get. Alignment, pure alignment. And there's no freedom like being aligned. That feeling. But when you do it the other way around, when you follow income first and hope to find purpose later, because hope is that thing, right? It's someday. Then you're moving backwards. And then when you move in that shape from income to try and find a purpose, basically you are, the hollowness is going to still remain. It's not going to go away there, right? So going back to the frameworks, so the frameworks answer a different question. The frameworks are saying, how can I be more successful in my career? Those 3 frameworks I shared at the start. And they're saying, what should I do to earn more money and also enjoy life? What those frameworks do not answer is, who am I at a soul level? What is the service that the universe is asking of me? What did I come to this lifetime in order to learn, in order to teach, in order to embody, and in order to express, right? So soul level purpose is not about optimization. It's about remembering who you are beneath all the layers, not a career strategy or a productivity framework. or a path to professional success. All that may come later and get layered upon. But your soul level purpose is one, your authentic nature expression, expressing itself from its depths. Two, the truth of who you are when everything else is stripped away. And three, what you're here to be, not just what you're here to do, where the doing becomes an expression of the being. And I like Michael Meade, the way he expresses it, and he's a mythologist and a storyteller. He puts it beautifully. Authentic is a Greek word with two parts. Author, from which we get the word author, and antigo, which is the essence of a person. So to be authentic is to author a life from your essence. This is the work of discovering and living your soul's purpose in this lifetime. Not from scratch, not from what society tells you to be, but from what's already there, deep down within you, deep down within you, deep down within me. And, he goes on to say there's an old saying that many are called, few are chosen. And how Michael Meade explains it is, and I agree very much with the way he looks at it, he says, everyone is called, everyone is chosen. The question is, can you awaken to the nature of the call? That's the question. Because this is what the modern world kind of hides from us, or doesn't want us to know, right? And it's kind of designed to distract us from this. Because it's designed to distract us from the inner nature of our lives, from our true calling. And that's why the frameworks kind of point outward to the markets, to the strengths, to what you can be paid for, to keep you looking, always seeking, except for where the answer actually lives, which is here. And here's another piece I want to add, and that's soul level purpose doesn't have to be grand. I'm putting that in quotes. To anyone, your purpose may be just to be a deeply present, loving mother to your child, to create a home where safety and belonging live, or to tend a garden that feeds your neighborhood, to be the person who's always showing up when somebody needs help moving house. So, the world may not be there to applaud you. LinkedIn won't celebrate you, and it won't make you wealthy and famous. But if that's your soul call, if that's what makes you come alive, what gives you a sense of rightness, then that is your purpose. And it's just as meaningful as building, these big movements and writing bestsellers and all of this thing that I've shared examples earlier on. But only your soul knows what it came here to do. And that's the journey to take, for you to kind of understand. No one else can kind of tell you, what I would like to ask is, who are you when all of your title, your income, your worth, your productivity, when all of that is stripped away? Who are you? And what would emerge if you didn't have to concern yourself with money? Think about that. Sit with it. What would emerge if I didn't have to concern myself with money? What would I do what would you do if you truly listen to that quiet voice inside? What does your soul gently pull you towards? There's so much wealth of energy that can come out of you that's beyond your career, beyond whatever promotion level you're seeking, beyond the monetary gain. What are those things that money can't buy? Many times that's where the soul level purpose sits. These are things that actually make you feel fulfilled, that actually make you feel like you're having meaning, a sense of just a fullness that's developing within you. And these are the things that give you the energy, meaning, life, the things that no matter what's happening around you, you're still able to smile, you're still able to have this kind of positive outlook on life, because you have something much deeper. So this is the journey that I've been on, and I've, again, felt that emptiness. And my calling is really to walk besides people on this journey that I myself have taken, and I have walked besides other people to find to discover and to live their soul level purpose. I've tried the frameworks. They did help in certain ways, but none of them unlocked what the purpose discovery journey unlocked for me. So, I went deeper than, what career should I choose? But I went to who am I at my soul level purpose? And let that be the one that awakens, and I really found parts of me that were dormant, that were asleep, these threads, these pointers from childhood. They were just unattended. And then they all started lighting up as I went through this journey. And so much energy arose, so much clarity came, and just the sense of aliveness, a sense of service, not from like a striving place, but from generosity, just love pouring forth from me. And again, I don't know what the journey can lead for you, but I know this, so if Gandhi was like, well, freedom's a good idea, but I don't know if I'm the one, I don't know if I should do anything about it. Or if Martin Luther King said, yeah, equality would be nice, but never took a step, where would we be, right? Where would we be today? And I believe there were hundreds of people around them who said the exact same thing, that yeah, freedom's a good idea, that would be nice, equality would be nice, but few did something. Someone had to take that step, and then they took one step, and then the next, and then the next, and that's how it kind of unfolds. So you really don't know what's going to happen unless you try, unless you take that step forward. And this is where I would not jump, but this is where I would reflect on the 6-month purpose discovery journey that I offer. Right? It's not to find a better career, it's not to optimize your income, it's to remember who you are far beyond your career, far beyond the monetary gain. There are so many other levels of worth and value. And of course, yes, you could do this alone. You could do this alone, and many try. But what I've discovered, and this was recently in one of my introduction gatherings that I did. So by the way, I do an introduction gathering every month. So introduction to soul, purpose discovery, to soul level purpose discovery. And in the last gathering, there was a lady who came and she said, I really feel what you're saying. And I know I'm empty. I'm aware of all these truths that you're saying, but I just don't know where to start. Which book do I read first? Which YouTube video? It's all kind of like all over the place. It's a bit random. And I really resonated deeply because I've been through that overwhelm. I've done this hopscotching around different places. And so what I'm saying is, what I'm offering is not the only way. It's not this one way. There are so many paths to self-knowing, but it's a structured path. I've walked it myself. I've guided others through it as well. And week by week, we move through practices that help you tune into that frequency of yourself, that radio signal from deep within. And it takes time. That's why six months, it's a slow, it's a deliberate, it's a focused, it's a one-pointed focus. And my invitation to you is, why not take the journey instead of trying alone with different ways? Why not take the journey in community and with a guide who's kind of familiar with the terrain? Moi. While the journey is shared, it is individualistic, deeply. You'll discover, how does my soul commune? How does your soul commune? What are the things that attracts me? What draws me? And you'll become much more sensitive to that frequency. You'll understand how to listen to it, how to connect with it, that radio signal that's coming deep from within you. So here's my challenge, or my invitation, more than a challenge. Why not choose to live at a much higher level than a limiting, scarcity-minded money system level? Yes, we need money. Money is helpful for many things, but it's not going to give you meaning in your life. It's not going to make you feel whole. It's not going to make you feel complete. It's not going to make you feel fulfilled. And, forgive me for going to this place, but on your deathbed, no matter how much money you have, it's going to be worth nothing. You're going to take nothing with you. What will matter is your memories. What will matter is, did you run the race well? Did you finish strong? Did you serve with dignity and honor? Are those around you, human beings, and the other than human beings, the more than human beings, are they feeling blessed from your presence, that you left this world just a little bit more beautiful, a little bit more good, and put something true and valuable that blessed others through you? So that's the invitation. And so if you're ready, please join me. The link to the next Introduction to Purpose Discovery, which I do every month, is down below. So you can sign up to either this one, or if you missed it, the next one. And I would love to connect with you and thank you for your time today. And I know and hope and pray that this blessed you.